My name is Brennan Underhill, and I was wrong.
This is United A-Holes, a video cast discussing cultural topics with no filter.
Oh, look at that. Look at this guy.
My clone.
Perfect. So I'm first off going to introduce myself as the youngest person in the room who has read the driver's handbook.
Oh, that's handy.
You fucking dick.
Who's the oldest in the room and who hasn't read the driver's handbook in fucking forever? Brent fucking Underhill. That's who.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I read it. So we were talking, or I guess you guys were talking about pedestrians and right-of-way and everything.
Was going to work the other day, and on 3 different occasions, the person in front of me stopped to let somebody just wander across the road. No crosswalk.
And pedestrians only have right-of-way at crosswalks. That's it. If you step out in the middle of a highway, you forfeit right-of-way.
I don't know.
I dare you to hit anybody not on a crosswalk and see what happens.
It's 50-50.
Have you got the handbook with you?
I do.
Oh,
No.
That's even awesomer. Oh, perfect. Was it
60.
page 60? All right, let me
First
get in
of
there.
all,
Let's get
I issued the challenge.
No, not first of all. You guys told me to read the book.
but
No.
who wrote this book?
No.
Promise in Brunswick.
I issued the challenge. Do you accept?
Pay attention.
Okay.
The pedestrian's responsibility. Every pedestrian, which includes a person in a wheelchair, crossing a roadway at any point other than within a marked or unmarked crosswalk at the end of a block, is required to yield the right-of-way to vehicles upon the highway. I said that the person in front of me stopped to let someone wander out. That person has to wait for that car to go by, for me to go by, and the cars behind me, and then step out. This person stopped and then let this guy cross.
Right.
That guy's in the wrong because the pedestrian has to yield the right-of-way unless they're in a crosswalk.
And we stated that the pedestrian was in the wrong.
So what's the driver?
I challenge you to hit anybody walking across the road with your vehicle and see what happens.
At an intersection where traffic is controlled by traffic signals, it is an offense for a pedestrian to disobey the instruction of any traffic signal placed in accordance with the Motor Vehicle Act unless otherwise directed by a peace officer.
So
you are not allowed on the road if you're walking.
Oh, we've already agreed to that point.
No.
The pedestrian was in the wrong. We've all said that.
Yes. So
now you're saying the driver is allowed to hit that person because they do not have to yield the right of way.
I don't have to yield the right of way.
Then hit the next person that walks across the road and see what happens.
If I hit them, they are in the wrong.
See what happens.
That's the point.
I guarantee you're the one in the wrong.
It's 50-50. I looked it up. If they step out,
you're still in the wrong then. 50% you're in the wrong.
But they are
I don't
not
like us looking up stuff.
They are not.
This is definitely not Area 41 science.
Thanks, pal. I love a good caper.
It's all situational. So if he steps out and I have no time to stop and I hit him, I'm not in the wrong. If I have plenty of time to stop and I hit him, it's 50-50 because he stepped out in front of me.
If you can't yield, then you still did what you could do. But if you do not yield, you are going to jail.
No, they have to yield the right of way to me.
Yes, they do.
Right.
And so do you.
No, in the crosswalk.
No.
It says in the book, unless they're in a crosswalk, I don't have to yield them.
If you hit a pedestrian, it doesn't matter where they're standing.
Geez, the driver's handbook is more complicated than the Bible, apparently.
We read the book, and apparently I'm still wrong, but I'm stating that I'm not.
The book says the pedestrian is in the wrong. We all agreed to that.
The book says the pedestrian has to yield the right of way to the vehicle.
Right.
So the guy in front of me,
if he doesn't, he's in the wrong.
The guy in front of me has to go. Josh
where
stated,
in the book does it say?
Keep me out of it.
Josh
where
stated,
in the book does it say
No,
that the driver
keep me out of
does not stop?
No, we're going back to the video. Josh stated, and he did the right thing. The driver did the right thing.
Right, so they followed the law.
They're just no crosswalk.
Yeah, so they followed the law.
No.
The driver followed the law.
No, they didn't.
Go on.
The driver did.
The driver went.
The pedestrian didn't. The driver did.
You're jaywalking.
Yep.
I don't care. Sure.
I do.
Okay, but the driver still would have broken the law if they didn't stop.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes, they would have.
No, they would not.
Okay, anyway, go on.
You hit a person with your vehicle and they die, you're going to jail.
Doesn't matter where they were standing.
The pedestrian always has right of way.
Right.
If they cross in front of you, regardless of crosswalk, it's the law to stop and allow them to cross.
Why do we have crosswalk?
Because it's much safer and
to go to a designated spot.
But like we said, the pedestrian broke the law.
Yeah, they're
the driver
also.
didn't.
If that pedestrian walks out onto the road,
the driver obeyed
you
the
stop.
law. The driver stopped and let someone wander across the road. No, he didn't. The driver could keep right on going and not break any laws. That's my bone of contention. Me saying the guy stopped to let the guy cross where there was no crosswalk, you both told me I was wrong and that driver did the right thing. He followed the law.
He did.
Go back and watch the episode, folks.
He did.
Yeah.
Go ahead, hit a pedestrian, see what happens.
No, that's not the point. The point
That is the point. You have
that-
to yield to a pedestrian.
Not if he's
If they're
standing
on the road, you cannot hit them.
He stopped to let this guy
So the pedestrian wasn't
cross.
on the road.
He was on the side of the road. That's what I said. He
I
stopped
apologize.
to
I
let them
misunderstood.
cross. He wasn't standing in the
If he
middle of the
wasn't
road.
on the road, the driver does not stop, I admit.
Right. That's what I mean.
I always said you were right, Brian.